Hello everyone, this is Ironzaku. Long back in February, a good friend of mine, RT Duellist, did a discussion video on his channel where he got me and a good friend Hawthorne along for our discussion for fictional crushes. And for a while, I kinda wanted to do something similar to that video, and recently I had a great idea. How about we do something like that, but instead of talking about our fictional crushes, we talk about our favourite villains in fiction. So, just like last time, I got the boys together in for a Discord call and we had a great discussion, as you're about to see throughout the video. Now, a few things to note before we actually begin. If you notice why I haven't been uploading or streaming a lot recently, it's because recently I now got a full-time job, so as you can imagine, I'm not going to have the time to do everything under the sun, but I'm still going to try my best. Second thing to note for why this video took a lot longer than usual is because of the fact that I kinda forgot to check the audio settings when recording because apparently they were very quiet and I was the loudest. So I did the best I could to make our audio levels sound a bit equal, so if at any point in the video something sounds a bit off, that explains why. So do keep that in mind. So without any further ado, let's start off the video. So then, before we begin lads, I want to let Reese know here that yes, this time around from the last collaboration, we are recording now, so this is your signal.
Wait, why are we? I'm losing the words to speak English.
Oh.
Why are we hurrying on me when you're the one who didn't realize we were recording last time, even though we said it out loud?
Yeah, it was you, Zaku.
Let's just say it was like the heat of the moment. I tend to forget things. But not this time though, I'm making it perfectly clear.
You tend to forget things, I tend to not speak proper English. Great, we're a pair.
Yeah, makes us equal.
Yep.
So, who wants to start off first?
I think you should, Zaku, seeing as this is your video.
I mean, to be fair, when we did that Fictional Crushes video, I did point out to Reese that he should start first. So, in this instance, I'll do the honors. Okay, I'm going to start off with someone that I think is very sympathetic, surprisingly, that you do feel bad for. And you might know it. You might know this character, or the movie in question. Again, I'm messing up my English as well. It's Roy Batty from Blade Runner.
Oh yeah, he was played by Rutger Hauer, wasn't he?
Yeah, in the movie. Are you familiar with Blade Runner, Reese?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna try my best at explaining. Roy is like a replicant, which is like a sort of humanoid cyborg in a sense, where he has escaped from a colony planet with his compatriots to find their creators so that they don't die. Because they're basically like on a death timer, if that helps, because of the fact that they want to live. And Roy, throughout the movie, commits some murders against the people that helped in his creation, which, again, he's not innocent from doing terrible things, but at the very least, you can understand the position that he's in, because, again, he's basically on a death timer, and he's more of a freedom fighter.
Yeah.
Alright.
And honestly, he's the kind of character that you do, like I mentioned before, feel sorry for, considering the situation that he's in. Like, if you put yourself in his shoes, you probably would have done something like that as well, minus the murders. So, yeah, Roy Batty, one of my favourite cinematic villains from Blade Runner, and he has one of the best ending monologues before he dies in front of our main protagonist, Decker, who is a Blade Runner sent to dispose of rogue replicants.
Huh.
And of course, like you said, Hawthorne, he was played by the late Rutger Hauer, who is amazing in that movie, so rest in peace.
Y'all mind if I bring up Power Rangers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. This is my childhood right here.
I'm gonna bring up specifically Mesagog from Dino Thunder.
Oh, I remember him.
Oh my. Okay, so story time. Little baby Hawthorne was absolutely terrified of like snakes and lizards at one point. Not only because of Mesagog, but also because of the Basilisk from the second Harry Potter movie.
Oh, yeah, the Basilisk. I mean, that one honestly scared me a bit when I was a kid as well, to be honest.
And then, like, a few years later, I actually grew to love snakes and lizards. So I don't know what went on there.
All I can just say is that was one hell of a 180.
Yep.
I just remembered, if we're discussing Power Rangers, we can't discuss Power Rangers without Lord Zed.
Oh, yeah, look, one of the most iconic bad guys in all of Power Rangers.
alongside the one and only Rita Repulsa.
His wife, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't forget about. I mean, you can't forget about Rita Repulsa. I mean, she's insane.
Mhm.
I mean, do you guys know the real reason why Lord Zed had to marry Rita?
Go on.
It's something to do with the parents asking it to be toned down, wasn't it?
Yeah. Back in the day when Lord Zed first made his appearance, up until I think like the beginning of like halfway through season 2, I think that's when it happened. A lot of parents did not like Lord Zed because of the look, the voice, even just a lot. They hated Lord Zed. I think they also hated the fact that Lord Zed made his monsters grow by throwing bombs at them.
Oh.
Throwing bombs at monsters.
He threw
Yeah.
Viagra bombs at them.
Yeah. So the parents literally kept writing in saying they didn't like Lord Zed and all this, and so the only way to like tone him down was to like get him married, so that way, yeah, he wasn't as like evil apparently, by then marry Rita.
I was just about to say, the perfect way to tone down a villain that's scaring the crap out of kids, just give him a wedding.
I think the kids were okay. It was just the parents weren't happy about it.
I mean, don't you just love it when parents are overprotective?
I know.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Although we were talking about characters that scared the hell out of people back then, I'm going to bring up a group of villains that scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. So this is going to be a bit of childhood trauma here, so are you ready?
Mm.
And it's going to be no surprise, but I'm going to bring up the Skeksis from the Dark Crystal.
Oh, the Dark Crystal. The puppetry in that was done by Jim Henson of Sesame Street and Muppets fame.
Yeah, it was made by Jim Henson himself, and all I can just say about the Skeksis, again, is that they are so freaking horrifying. I mean, the way that they designed and all that just said, like, shock to me when I was a kid because of how scary that they looked. And one of them, I'm trying to remember the name, but hopefully you might bring it up in case I forgot. One of them always keeps making these strange noises.
Oh, I think it was Chamberlain.
Oh yeah, Chamberlain.
All right, since you guys have brought up some that I don't even know, apart from Lord Zed, I feel like I'm gonna now have to bring up a bad guy that you guys probably don't know. Sorry, but I have to touch on the anime side of this conversation. Typical, the guy who watches a lot of anime, it touches upon anime.
Which is alright.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. And I'm going to go with a series I know you two haven't watched, One Piece, and I'm going to go with Doflamingo.
Oh.
I'll be honest, Doflamingo does sound familiar. Is he the one with I'm trying to remember. Is he the one that wears that weird pink scarf, if I recall?
Well, pink floppy coat, yeah.
Oh, close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so big it makes him look like he's hunchback. Basically, his powers come from the string fruit. Basically, be able to control strings, even create strings. And the reason why he's so evil is because one, we learn about this during the final conflict, I think, like a flashback, or during a new scene. So this might be a spoiler for people who haven't caught up to the dub. But then again, the dub's been out for like. I think that particular episode's been out for quite a long time now, so I'm pretty sure up to date One Piece dub fans will probably know of it. He's a celestial dragon or a former celestial dragon, being people who consider themselves high up on the monarchy, who are above the government, who have slaves and all that, and treat them harshly. They'll even shoot you if you look at them wrong. So he already so you can imagine he's already got quite a bit of an ego on him. Also, with his strings fruit power, he not only threatened the king of a kingdom to hand it over, but he also then used his power to control not only the king, but some of his royal knights, and they started slashing the people of his kingdom. And you know what makes it worse?
Go on.
The king was conscious the entire time, so he could see what he was doing. He just couldn't control his body.
That, I honestly admit, is actually kind of horrifying. Just being aware of the fact that you are being controlled and you are doing something that you can't help, from yourself from doing. That is messed up.
And what could be worse? He's got a move called the bird cage. He can trap a town, a village, a whole island in a big giant bird cage made out of his string, which is uncuttable. No one has able to cut it, and it shrinks.
Oh.
So the string is like carving into the ground, closing in.
I can only imagine that it's doing so to the point where if you are unfortunate to be in it and the strings are close to you, it's game over, right?
You're either probably getting cut, brushed by the buildings, or trampled by people running into the center to try and buy time. Take your pick.
Oh, that is very messed up.
I want to.
That is one horrible way to go. I mean, hopefully, if we're going to lighten the tone a bit after that, I'm going to bring up another childhood villain that you can all discuss that is very iconic.
Yes.
Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes. Shredder.
2003 Shredder was my Shredder.
Oh yeah, I grew up with that show.
I mean, 2003 Shredder, he's pretty much when he was first introduced, unkillable. Have a water fountain thrown onto him, yeah, he just lives. Get beheaded, yeah, he lives.
I should probably note as well that for some weird reason, when it came to like the later movies, Michael Bay for some reason made him look like Silver Samurai from the Wolverine, where he looks like a giant mech,
Oh, that was a very weird choice.
I think he just probably had some Transformers energy left in him, and it was just like, let's put it to the shredder.
Probably.
Speaking of Transformers, are we going to talk about Megatron?
Oh yeah,
So iconic.
yeah, amazing.
Right. Okay, which incarnation of Megatron is your favorite Megatron?
I'm sorry, I've got to go with the Prime Continuity Megatron.
Yes.
That one is just brutal to all hell. What was it? He ripped out Bumblebee's voice box.
Yeah.
He actually ended up brutally harming Optimus.
Oh,
And in the final episode of Prime, he killed Bumblebee.
I mean, you can't kill Bumblebee and get away with it,
yeah. No. Did you like the Unicron Rebirth design of Megatron?
Nah, gotta be the OG with his big ass arm cannon.
I mean, to be fair, it's very iconic to how he also looked at his G1 counterpart with the arm cannon as well.
Oh yeah.
I was actually gonna bring up the one that I was introduced to as a kid that got me into Transformers, the Megatron from Transformers Armada when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. That Megatron got my respect. He was a Megatron I would follow because yeah, he treated his men with respect. Yes, he was a Megatron and did like typical Megatron things, but that one just felt different, Like he just had respect for his men, and even more, he had respect for Optimus. Like when Optimus died in Armada, spoilers. I mean, he didn't laugh out. He screamed out for Optimus and was depressed because of it.
Another thing I think the Prime Megatron did, he also got close to killing Optimus.
Yeah.
But in this instance,
In the Autobot base on top of him.
Yeah.
but I'm surprised in this instance, like you said, because how Armada Megatron was very honourable, and it does make him feel a bit different where he screams out Prime's name.
Yeah. So I think they changed that when he got brought back for Energon and Cybertron, I believe.
Where he was back to his usual self.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring up a Megatron that's a bit contradictional, but I think this is a Megatron that's gone close to his goal more than any of the Megatrons before or after. And sadly, it's not G1 Megatron related. It is Beast Machine Megatron. I know everyone hates Beast Machine, but hear me out. Hear me out why I like this version of Megatron. I may as well say yes, this is the same as the Beast Wars Megatron. It's just it's just the Megatron after Beast Wars. But basically, he gets taken back to Cybertron, but during the time tunnel, he frees himself and arrives back on Cybertron before the Maximals return. and has taken over Cybertron, taking away all the sparks that in the Cybertronians, basically filling the planet with drones that he controls. So this is a Megatron that's done the impossible, taking control of Cybertron.
Of course, I just remembered, if we talk about Megatron, we're going to end this on a high note. We have to discuss his later evolution, Galvatron.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite Galvatron?
I don't really, but if I had to pick out all the ones I've seen, I've gotta say G1, the G1 movie.
Oh yeah, Transformers the movie Galvatron.
Yeah, I gotta admit, the movie Galvatron's a lot more better than the G1 cartoon, considering G1 cartoon had a few screws loose.
And we don't talk about the fourth movie version.
You mean from... Oh no, we don't talk about Age of Extinction Megatron. I mean Galvatron, is that what you mean?
Yeah, we don't talk about Age of Extinction Galvatron.
And since we discussed childhood villains again, I'm going to throw in one more, but of course, it's going to be from, unsurprisingly, a Disney movie. I'm sure you know where I'm going with this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the one that I would consider to be the best of the best, and it's Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh my... Frollo is probably the most evil Disney villain. Oh dear God.
Yeah, the most evil, the most irredeemable. I mean, at least with other villains, at least you can have fun with, and they can have the moments of redemption here and there. But this guy, no. There is nothing redeemable about him whatsoever. To the point where early on in the movie, he almost tried to kill Quasimodo when he was a baby by dropping him in a well. Think about how messed up that is.
I was just about to say, that is truly messed up.
And then only until after being called out by the priest of Notre Dame did he rethink his actions and seal Quasimodo away at the top of one of Notre Dame's bell towers to raise him in secret.
Not just in secret, but to hide him away from society.
It's just messed up entirely.
I mean, the best I could say is that if you want to learn more, I would strongly recommend The Hunchback of Notre Dame. It is one of my favourite underrated Disney movies of all time.
Oh, and if we're bringing up the Disney Renaissance, we've got to bring up Scar.
Who famously made the most evil quote imaginable, "Long live the king."
Oh, and Jeremy Irons, such a good choice.
I mean, he nailed it in the role. Although, I might add this as a side note, the remake that came out a few years ago, well, Scar wasn't the best, should we just say? Because the movie was just literally copy and paste.
Just made live action for people who want to see it as live action.
But the funny thing is, though, there's no live action actors. It was all just animals CGI'd, which kind of brings into question why you would want to call it live action, but what do I know?
It's live action with big air quotes.
Yeah, big air quotes.
So, I'm gonna jump back to an anime.
Ooh.
I think one that we've all seen.
Yep.
That's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah, oh, you father.
Father.
Yeah, I'm bringing up Father and the Seven Homunculi.
Yes.
I mean, yes, there is the existence of Shao Tucker. Let's not bring him up.
Yeah, let's not. Let us not.
But yeah, Father, I've got the list of his crimes. So, not only did he kill the entire populace of 2 nations just to make 3 Philosopher's Stones, but he also, and to go on over the homunculi, Envy was the one who killed Mace Hughes. Pride ate Gluttony just to make himself stronger. And back to Father, he used the souls of Amestras to become God.
Damn.
Alright, if we're going back to anime, I might as well bring up another one as well, which I honestly loved as a bad guy, and I can see how he became nearly unstoppable. And that'll be from Naruto Shippuden, Madara Uchiha.
Oh, Madara, he is so overpowered, if I recalled.
Yeah, you've not seen Naruto and you haven't played the games, so I'm gonna go over how he's powerful. Let's start off with he's a product of war. before Naruto even started, before Naruto's dad came into existence, he was part of a war, and after the war, he became one of the founders of the Hidden Leaf Village. He pretty much was like the Shadow Hokage. If you know the series, you know what that is. But then he went on his own, went to fight then against the first Hokage, Hashirama, lost, but ended up using a forbidden technique to still be alive. So everyone thought it was dead, but it was really alive. He had even when he was alive and had the Sharingan, it was powerful. Then next time we see him, he comes back as an Edo Tensei, a reanimated ninja with an unkillable body. So he was straight up powerful already, but now he's got an unkillable body with the Sharingan, and then later revealed to actually have the Renegon, which was like an evolved version of the Sharingan, which can call out freaking meteors.
Like call them from the sky.
Yeah, he threw one on an army, which one ninja managed to stop, but then he calls us. I think he called them at the same time, but he called the second one, which landed on top of the first one, which exploded and crushed everything.
Damn.
Oh.
And I haven't gone over his Sharingan's main power, which he has still with Renegon, which was the Susanoo, which I think you two know what Susanoo is.
Yeah, I've heard that name before.
Weird aura thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and he can bring it to his higher evolution, so it's got legs. And Madara's just flying inside, and it's got swords!
You got swords?
Which can cut mountains!
Fair enough.
And, to top it all off, when he came back to life, he absorbed all the tail beasts and became the 10-tailed Jinchuriki. So he's got all that power that he originally had, with the powers of a god.
Oh.
So he's got back his reanimation, not reanimate powers, yeah, so he can heal very fast. Like, he took an attack that took out half his chest and his left arm, and he was laughing about it, that he nearly died, and with it while his arm was growing back.
Oh.
That is nuts. That's all I'd say. Very sadistic, yeah.
Oh, and thanks to his Renegon, he's also got the powers to bring out 4 invisible clones of him that no one can see, but Naruto can sense it, and and Sasuke could see them. And you want to know how Madara got defeated?
Go on.
Apparently Madara Uchiha became so powerful that the writer could not think of how Naruto and Sasuke could defeat him. So he had to write a new villain to stop Madara for Naruto and Sasuke to face instead.
And I can imagine the solution was controversial, to say the least.
Aliens.
Wait, what?
Why not?
The Otsutsuki clan, which is the main bad guys that Boruto's lot have to face, turns out to be like aliens. People who came to Earth to turn the human race into Zetsus. It's mindless clones for them to use. Who gave the human race, one of them came to like humans, gave the human race chakra. She's come back from the dead, taking over Madara's body, basically turning Madara into her. And we then learn her backstory that she felt betrayed, so that's why she wants to take back all the chakra that was dispersed out, so that she can use it and then continue to plan to turn them all into Zetsus.
Oh.
So, again, to quote that History Channel meme, aliens.
Yes, aliens.
All it took to take Madara down was aliens. Since we discussed a long while of Naruto now, I'm going to change things up a bit with another villain that I have in mind. So, you're all familiar with the video game company Capcom, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up, right off the bat, a Resident Evil villain. That, while he might not be my absolute favourite, but I'm including him here just because of the fact that I think he is one of the best highlights, well, for me at least. And that would be Nemesis from Resident Evil 3, I mean, imagine the Terminator if instead of a mechanical robot that hunts you down, it's this huge hulking bioweapon programmed to kill you and hunt you down no matter what.
Now, I'm
Sounds
not seeing I'm not seeing Resident Evil, but I have faced off against Nemesis in Dead by Daylight.
Not to mention in that game, you have to deal with the fact that he has his AI zombies around the map as well.
Oh yeah, just shuffling along the ground with a potential add-on that can turn them into turbo shuffling along, which is terrifying on itself.
Zombies with turbo boots. That's cursed.
I'm just imagining like a normal zombie like movement idle animation just sped up by 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times normal speed.
Yeah.
What will make it even more terrifying to me if they did that in Dead by Daylight is you just see the zombies like slowly walking along, and then they see you and they start waving their arms and running as fast as they can towards you. All I can say is if that happened to me in the games, I'll just instantly turn around and go, "Oh my god, the zombies have stopped being lazy!"
Yeah.
Seeing as you brought up Capcom Zaku,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up another Capcom franchise, and while yes, technically not having villains per se, they do have they have monsters that can be considered villains.
Oh, I think I know.
Monster Hunter.
Oh, yeah, Monster Hunter.
Specifically, I'm gonna bring up 4, World, and Iceborne.
Yep, go on.
Oh, 4's main villain is the Gormagala,
Oh, yes, Gormagala. That was an awesome monster.
a baby elder dragon clothed completely in black, using the frenzy virus to see, because yes, it is blind.
And not to mention the fact it has a later form where it's all gold, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah, the Shigaru Magala, and then of course with World, there's the Xenojiva, which is using Elder Dragon bioenergy to strengthen itself. And then for Iceborne, there's the Shara Ishvalda, which is creating earth-shattering earthquakes.
I mean, to be fair, Monster Hunter is known for having insanely powerful monsters in the franchise.
Yeah, very much like the Elder Dragons, basically living natural disasters.
I'm gonna go back to childhood villains, because when I was little, I wanted to be a gamer, but I couldn't because I didn't have a memory card for like my PlayStation. Who remembers memory cards?
Oh, God. I will say this as a side note, when it comes to memory cards, if you didn't have one, you basically had to start the game all over again, which was annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
which
remember having to do that with Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy.
Oh, yeah, Jak and Daxter. I love that game series.
Yeah, there was 2 games I always constantly had to redo because I loved them so much, and I really did want to. I kept playing them to like see if I can like do the level quicker than previous. The 2 games I always played was Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase and Lego Island 2. I think that's what the game called. I still have it.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about Lego Island 2 and the Brickster.
Okay.
Yeah, I never managed to complete the game, as you can imagine, when the memory card was non-existent for me as a child. I now do have a PS1 memory card, so I will probably eventually play that game again just for nostalgia purposes, even though I can barely remember how I did it. But the Brickster to me just seems like evil to me as a child. I was probably playing this like when I was 6, so I did not know like what pure evil was. But
Yeah.
I knew it was evil. I don't know why. I thought it was terrifying because he would eat hot chili pizza and flamethrower his bars off to escape.
Oh, God. Yeah, what the hell?
And just from escaping, he managed to like bring these bad guys that would follow everyone, and you had to like stop and destroy or throw pizza at to get rid of, which was weird. But to me as a kid, even though I never got past like the first island, I think if that's why it's called Lego Island, again, don't know. If this guy's escape can just cause this much trouble, then he's definitely evil.
I'm gonna bring up another classic video game villain, and that is Ganondorf.
Oh, Legend of Zelda.
Yes, and I've got to say, favorite like favorite Ganondorf overall, probably the Wind Waker. But if I had to say favorite design, I'd have to go with the Hyrule Warriors version, where he's got the really long hair, the golden clawed gauntlets, and his Twilight Princess outfit.
Oh, isn't Hyrule Warriors the one where it's like a Dynasty Warriors spin-off but for Legend of Zelda?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
Really fun.
Oh yeah, I
And
can
then,
definitely tell.
Of course, there's also Calamity Ganon from Breath of the Wild. Holy Jesus, that Ganon actually won.
I just remembered as well, another one from the child as well. It's gonna surprise maybe both of you, but maybe for me personally, because I just remembered. Again, we're gonna surprisingly go back to the Lego theme that Reese here brought up. Who remembers Bionicle?
Bionicle.
I loved playing with Bionicles when I was a kid. I did have one game for the PC, but it was like a demo disc I got with one of my Bionicles.
And of course, it's those. Yeah. Oh, you had to remind me of the Paraka rap. But of course, I'm not going to bring up the Paraka, surprisingly. But instead, we all know the Dark Lord of Bionicle, Makuta.
Makuta.
I've never heard of him.
Neither have I. I just wanted to say his name because it sounded fun.
I mean, fair enough. I mean, he was, I recall, like, the major antagonist of the Bionicle series, if you recall from either in the lore with the toys, the games, or even the straight-to-DVD movies, if I remember from my childhood, if anyone remembers watching those.
Yeah. I never watched the Bionicle series. Like I said, the only hint of Bionicle I had was that one piece I had with a demo disc to play in the PC.
Fair enough.
All I remember about that Bionicle set is that it had swords.
I mean, fair enough.
Green and had swords. But if we but you mentioned a rap reminded me of the Digimon movie, like the digital rap.
Oh,
It came to my head. Can we talk
The worst
about
villain of them all.
Diaboromon?
Oh, yeah, Diaboromon.
Diaboromon.
The main antagonist from our war game / the second story within the Digimon movie for us Westerners. Diaboromon was terrifying. He lived in the internet. Well, he was created and pretty much lived his entire life in the internet, only shown his Rookie, Ultimate, and Mega modes.
And then in the sequel showing his Ultra level.
Yeah. Wait, is it Ultra or is it still classed as a Mega? Because I believe it's still classed as a Mega. I think Armageddon's still classed as a Mega, not an Ultra. We're actually stopping now to look it up.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm looking it up.
2,000 years later.
Hey, it's still classified as a Mega.
Yeah, I thought so. Because I remember looking at the top 10 strongest Digimon, and they used Diaboromon as a reference, and they mentioned the Ultra class and how Armageddon is still classed as a Mega level Digimon. So it's just a more powerful Diaboromon, but at the same level.
Yeah.
But yeah, Diaboromon was one of the OP Digimon I've ever seen, even taking out War Greymon and Metal Garurumon at the same time by creating his own army. And then he appeared in the human world as Armageddon, took out Omnimon, which took out Diaboromon, and Imperial Dramon Fighter mode. The only way they took out Armageddon was by using Paladin mode, whose sword has the power to reset Digimon.
Also, since we're discussing anime villains again, I got one in mind right now that it's going to be no surprise. And that is Dio Brando from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Of course. The JoJo fan brings up Dio.
I mean, what is there to say about Dio? He's one of the most iconic villains, not just in JoJo, but probably in anime, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, Dio had things not go well for him early on in his life, but does it give him the justifications for what he does later on in the series and to Jonathan Joestar and everyone around him? No, absolutely not. Especially if you saw Phantom Blood, he does some really fucked up things.
Yeah, in Phantom Blood, doesn't he throw Jonathan's dog into a furnace?
Yeah, you had to remind me of that as well. And that was before he even used the stone mask to become the vampire that we all know.
Good thing a certain streamer friend isn't with us, otherwise she would be freaking out from hearing that a dog got thrown into a furnace.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. But anyway, of course, even with all of that, he still is just incredibly selfish, beyond irredeemable, and of course, he does still have some solid highlights in both Phantom Blood, as well as his return in Stardust Crusaders, where he has his stand, the world.
I'm gonna bring up the villain from Beyond the Boundary, Miroku Fujima.
Oh, I recall you showing me that anime a long time ago.
And oh my lord, this man does some fucked up shit.
Take it away.
So, prior to the series, Mirai killed Yui Inami. She had a sister called Sakura, and here's where Fujima comes in. He uses Sakura's grief over Yui to give her a weapon and say, "You get to keep this as long as you kill Mirai with it." A little fun fact about this weapon: if she doesn't satiate its hunger, it will consume her.
So it's a living weapon.
Yeah, that lives off of other demons. And then he proceeds to go try and kill Ayaka Shindo, a helpful demon, incapacitate her daughter, and he also straight up manipulates the older sister of the Nase clan, Izumi, into doing his bidding.
Now that is beyond messed up.
All to see what Beyond the Boundary could do, just for an experiment.
Oh, I just remembered another villain that I could discuss, but Reese, I don't think you're gonna like me bringing him up.
Oh, don't tell me it's him, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what? I'll give you the honors.
Michael Myers.
From Halloween, yes! Okay, so we're all familiar with Halloween. We're all familiar with the Boogeyman himself. He's like one of the most evilest serial killers in the slasher genre, to the point where, honestly, I'll tell you this fun story, right? I was at a Comic-Con a couple of years ago, right? I can't remember where it was specifically, but we were in a long queue, and there was a huge gap in that queue where there was only one person by himself, and that person was cosplaying as Michael Myers. Likely because of the fact that he was scaring the living hell out of everyone. Like, that alone is enough to install fear, you know?
Yeah.
And not to mention the fact that in the movies that he's just, like, near indestructible with how much damage he can take, and just how horrifying he is in that goddamn mask.
And his stealth skill is over 9,000.
Yeah, pretty much.
For such a big guy, you expect him to have large, loud footsteps.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another one that I just remembered that scared me when I watched it recently as well.
Oh.
Okay, this is going to be the second horror character that I'm going to bring up, and hopefully the last time, but this is the one that I watched recently because of, Dead by Daylight, and it scared the crap out of me to an extent. And you might be surprised, it's Sadako from The Ring, specifically the original Japanese version. Yeah, it's basically, the premise is pretty simple, right? There's this tape that's cursed, and if you unfortunately have the desire to watch it and it's over, you only have 7 days until you die. And throughout the course of the movie, Sadako, I believe, messes with her victims by making the phones ring, and it puts you on edge for where she might come out from. And when your time is up, we enter one of the most iconic scenes of the movie where she crawls out of the TV, which is just very horrifying, and kills you with a death stare.
What I want to know is what happens when you're not near a TV when it's your time. What do you do then?
I could probably have to imagine that she'll have to get to you through other means, but of course, since it's The Ring, I could have to imagine she's limited to televisions or anything that has a screen.
What makes The Ring terrifying to me is I believe it's based upon a true story.
Oh yeah, I believe you telling me that before, so go ahead.
Yeah, basically it involves an emperor and his golden plates. One of them goes missing or breaks. I really need to re-look into the story for that. And he blames one of the servants, who then he throws down the well, which actually exists, by the way.
The well is real.
Yeah, the well is real. That actually exists. And I believe the story goes that he got haunted by that person who he thought broke the plate. And in real life, I believe someone sent a drone or went down the well, and they found a tunnel in the well. So that there's a chance that in the story she actually is alive and just like scared the living daylights out of the Emperor.
That is very creepy. Okay, since I've been discussing horror for a long while, should we have our last few villains to end off that you might have in mind?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up fighting games. I'm gonna bring up specifically Skullgirls.
Oh, I love that game.
And I'm gonna bring up specifically Black Dahlia.
Ooh, yeah. Take it away.
So one of my favorite characters in Skullgirls is Squiggly, the zombie girl with her actually faithful companion Leviathan, not unlike Samson, to fucking Philia. And I'm just gonna read this out. Dahlia herself administered the final blow to Selene's young daughter, Sienna, Squiggly, taunting Selene the entire time. She killed Squiggly in front of her mother.
Oh my god. Oh, why am I remembering this? That was very terrible.
I don't know if this is worse or better. She works for the Mafia.
Makes it worse.
I mean, Mafia is Mafia, what do you expect?
Mafia is the Mafia. And yes, she is a gun for hire.
Makes it worse even more.
Mm.
Alright, I'm gonna throw in Thanos.
Oh, yeah.
MCU Thanos. He had a noble reason, but just did it horribly wrong.
I mean, when it comes to Thanos, I always think of him as so misguided in his motives. Like, he thinks he's doing the right thing, because he was there to witness what happened in the events of, in his origin story for Infinity War and that, but my god, does he make a lot of people die.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that agree with Thanos, both in the real world and in the MCU. I'm pretty sure, like the famous Hawkeye scene. Hawkeye goes to the toilet, he looks down, and he sees in writing, Thanos was right.
Also, you can't forget the fact that, of course, Josh Brolin does a great performance. You can't deny that.
Oh, yeah, Josh Brolin absolutely killed it in that role.
Which is funny because roughly at the same time, he also was Cable for Deadpool 2 at the same time as well. So yeah, that's another extra fun fact. Oh, okay, how am I going to end this one off on a bang? That's the question.
Well, I can think of one bad guy overall that can end this in a bang, that we all can agree is probably the worst of the worst.
Go on.
Eric Cartman from South Park.
Oh, yeah, Eric is one messed up kid. Like, I've seen a lot of the episodes of South Park, and I can confirm it to you right now that at his worst, he is just horrible.
I've only seen episode season 20. I've seen the pandemic special, and that's about it. Even I know he's messed up as hell.
To the point where he got back to one of the kids that was messing with him, Scott Terraman, by making him unknowingly eat a certain chili, should we say.
Oh.
And that chili was made with the remains of his dead parents that Eric set up to be killed. Yeah, you might have recalled it where in the scene that he was like, nah, I made you eat your parents.
Or how about the fact that he turned himself into Adolf Hitler?
Oh.
Just watching the Passion of the Christ.
Oh, yeah. He at some point in the show, for some reason, puts on his freaking Hitler costume.
Or how about when he, like, is it a therapist or a... Yeah, I think it's a therapist. He killed a therapist's family by just calling him a little piggy.
Oh.
Or made him break up. One or the other. Either way, it's messed up. Yeah,
that's what made it end up. Eric Cartman, one of the most messed up kids in animation. So, word of advice, don't mess with him.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is the end of the video. That was one hell of a discussion that we brought up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, if you enjoyed this video, guys, then please feel free to leave a like, share, and comment down below which villains that you actually liked in entertainment and fiction. And if you like this discussion video and you want to see more like this in the future, then share your ideas in the comment section down below. I know I'm repeating that twice, aren't I?
Alright. Let's add something new in then. If you want to see us talk about our fictional childhood crushes, why don't you go and check out my video where we talk about our fictional crushes.
Links to that and the channels for these wonderful people will be down in the description.
Yep.
And as always, thank you all so much for watching, and this is Ironzaku signing out. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See yous.